Are you like me to where you're finding out about different outlets and hobbies that are outside of your 9 to 5, and you're finding those things when you are involved with them to be therapeutic? And sometimes, depending on the hobby or the outlet, it can be a little bit expensive or time consuming, especially if you're an individual that is in the YouTube ecosystem or any type of social media ecosystem to where you're involved with creating content constantly. And with creating that content, you need that one thing a lot of times, that you may hear a lot of content creators talking about, which is a camera.
Shut up and take my money.
I know that quality is, pretty much a big thing within content that I like to make. And the two cameras that I mainly use for my content creation or any type of project within the YouTube space is my FujiFILM XH2s and my Blackmagic 6K Pro when I'm out in the field just really capturing the footages that I want to create. And I believe that both of these cameras has helped me to develop my artistry eye to where I am just learning how to appreciate film on a different plane. I feel like I've been underutilizing the Fujifilm for its video aspects or video features, and I find myself weighing a little bit more on using that, but a lot of times it's based upon inspiration. Like, what do I feel is going to be the best tool that's going to help me to get that look that I'm looking for? I do enjoy getting wide, medium, over the shoulder car interior shots. Brings somewhat of a satisfaction to where I'm actually seeing, some of the things that, I see in movies. And I'm just like, man, that's a scene from, such and such movie. And it just feels good that you're able to do that at times. Also, I really like these shots because of the layer separation. Like, as you can see within the video, you see the overexposure or the exterior as far as the light outside, but then you see that light kind of like fade back into the back seat area, which is somewhat like a gradient. And it's like you can see like the separation of light as you go further and further back into the image. So I thought that was pretty dope. Lately, I've found myself going back to watching Dune Part 1 and Blade Runner 2049, which both of these movies were directed by Denis Villeneuve. And on both of those films, he had some well-renowned cinematographers helping him create his vision, and that was Roger Deakins, cinematographer for Blade Runner 2049, and then you have cinematographer Greg Fraser, who was a cinematographer on Dune Part 1. The cinematography in each of these films inspired me to understand scale better. Not also understand it, but really try to look at it from a minimalist standpoint, if that makes sense. And I'm not too sure if that's a term or not, but at least for me, I see it as just an interpretation of the visualization of their art and how it's speaking to me in that particular moment. So I arrived at my first destination, which was on a decommissioned old Air Force base. And essentially, I saw this tree, and I believe it was a bald cypress tree. And it was out in the middle of really nowhere in a sense. Like, there was some cars going back and forth in the background, but for the most part, though, it was by itself. Now, I know some of you in the comments will probably give me a hard time about talking about a tree, but I don't know. The tree looked very cool to me. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna get that image, and you know what, it kind of lines up to what I was expecting as far as like with scaling and looking at something with a minimal background. Like, I think I'm gonna go with this. Now, one of the drawbacks with having a 2-camera setup with you And this is not me complaining at all. It's just the fact that it takes a lot of time with the setup, with the camera placement, as far as like where you want to have the cameras at. But in this case, I was kind of using it in a setting. What? No. Scared the mess out of me. Oh my goodness, that scared the mess out of me. And I think what plays into that is the fact that both cameras have 2 different focal lengths, and more so for the FujiFILM XH2S, because it has the Viltrox 75mm focal length on it, is made for your more intimate and close-up scenes with your talent, versus the Blackmagic 6K Pro having the IRIX 21mm focal length cinema lens on it, and really setting the tone with the environment that you're trying to portray within your image. The FujiFILM XH2S, coupled with the Viltrox 75mm focal length, does take me a while to kind of like position the shot as far as like where I want to take the shot at. So if anything though, I would say this works to my benefit, because it helps me to take my time when I'm out there and to just really try to find those pockets or spots that I'm looking for to capture the image that I want to capture. Now, as you already know, both cameras can do slow motion. Blackmagic 6K Pro can do 6K up to 60 frames per second, which I feel is enough. Like 60 frames per second, I feel is enough for me. But what I will say is that the Blackmagic 6K Pro does 120K FPS, but it does it at a 2.8 resolution. So this is one of the reasons why I have the FujiFILM XH2S with me, because it can do 4K at 120 frames per second. Even though it has the crop, I can still manage that at the end of the day. Also too, just gives me the options to be able to just shoot what I want to shoot. And I just like having the option to be able to use those interchangeably when I'm on a particular project. Now, I did decide to go further into the decommissioned Air Force Base, and luckily enough, I was able to find a property that was interesting, eerie, and had a lot of characteristics. So at this particular juncture, I made the creative choice to take my FujiFILM XH2S off video mode and utilize it more so for photography in this particular instance. I felt as though that I wanted to try to just capture everything from a wide view and then work my way in to a closer view to get subtle characteristics about the particular property. While I was out there, I did notice that the property itself appeared to be flat in some of my images. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create some depth within them. So I did, stand behind a tree and just capture certain characteristics about the property, which in this case was the door, and there was a couple windows there as well too. I think overall, I really had a great day with, being able to challenge myself to see if I can get scaling and to understand it from a minimalistic lens. I think overall, today was a successful day. Like I went out there, I tried something different. I tried to capture something that I feel that I need more practice in, obviously, but it does give me a mindset or at least a vision as far as the style that I want to try to accomplish moving forward within some of my images. Like I mentioned before, the FujiFILM XH2S and the Blackmagic 6K Pro are my best combo duo that I like utilizing as of right now. The color grade doesn't seem too difficult to kind of match or align with each other. I know that there may be some differences within the color space, but for the most part though, it was something that I didn't see a real big issue with. So let me know down in the comment section what your favorite camera duo is. Thank you for staying this long with me in this video. I truly appreciate you all for staying this long with me if you're still here. So kudos to you, pat yourself on the back, and yeah, I appreciate it. And as always, continually appreciate the process, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.